getting back together out of the question now, huh? I was not expecting that ending, y'all. I definitely was not. Um, he got a side lady and a son. I said, okay, maybe y'all know I always gotta try to see the other side of things. I was like, maybe he was just saying it to stick it to her, but I don't think so. I don't know, y'all. I really don't know. I was not expecting that ending. But yeah, I said, well, I guess Priscilla and Sam getting back together is out of the question. He got a side woman and a 4-year-old son. Priscilla pushed him down the doggone stairs. Hunter still hooked on that stuff. He went to his son. He went to Jason, asking him for some substances. He tried to play it off or whatever, and Jason saw right through him. What he said, what do you got? Do you got some substances? Have you been using substances or whatever? And he's like, no, I'm not on that stuff. And Jason immediately knew that he was trying to ask for himself. Then he was talking about somehow they know that he got some stuff down in the tunnel. Is it substance down in that tunnel? I said, did he just tell you he ain't got nothing? He probably do, but at the same time, I don't know. They ain't gonna tell him when this is all over, we got to get you some help. He said, he said, well, I guess we'll be going to the same rehab. I said, well, I guess so, cause you sick and he's sicker. No, I don't know who's sicker. But yeah, he kept on asking him. I said, he desperate, ain't it? I told y'all, look. But aside from that, let me see what else happened. Isaac tried to tell Hunter that they used the fact that he liked substances and he used substances to their advantage. And he was right. Because Victoria ends up calling Donald to tell him that they need to get substances and put it in the tunnel. Excuse me, and put it in the tunnel because that's gonna help him come up out of there. And he was like, no, basically Eli's gonna handle it and all this other stuff. Why she go get Alonzo to do it? And he's supposed to be trying to find some on next week's episode. I said, Sharon and Dale both alike. They don't think. She trying to go to Kareem's place because I think because the dude that grabbed her said something about he seen some blood there or something. And I was like, I'm confused. Who walked in and seen the body laying in his bed? I think that Sharon found Barry's phone, did she? Or did she see the body? I'm confused, y'all. They confusing me at this point. Because I could have sworn somebody saw that body laying in the bed. Maybe it was just Kareem. Matter of fact, I think Kareem and his cousin, the one helped move the body, didn't they? They don't confuse me. And not only that, they was in the car sitting up there talking about the fact that Kareem was selling substances out of the pharmacy and she exactly shocked. Didn't Barry say in season 1 or 2 that he was doing that and she didn't want to believe it? Didn't he tell her that? If I'm not mistaken, didn't Barry tell her that? But yeah, what else? Let's see. Donald had that lady get in front of Alan Carr. I wonder if she's actually dead, because Cal stopped by talking about so he had the body in his truck or whatever. But that don't mean he actually did. That don't mean she did. That don't mean, because Alan said she was dead, but that don't mean nothing. Now he's on video. And literally slow, just like Sharon and Dale. I think it made a noise. If I'm not mistaken, it made a noise, and that's what let him know that she was listening. So he went upstairs trying to ask her about it. She told me, I don't know what you're talking about. Girl, you hid it. It ain't like you hid it somewhere where he wouldn't know. You hid it behind you. You hid it behind you. Of course he was going to find a doggone laptop. And then she was telling him not to. I'm diving into the review already, y'all. Let me end this right here and then we're gonna talk about it. But yeah, Lily got caught spying, but that's it, y'all. Now we're finna dive into the review. This for Tyler Perry's The Oval. I almost said Sisters. This for Tyler Perry's The Oval season 6, episode 14, I think. I think this episode 14. I didn't write it down, but I know I put it on the thumbnail. First things first, what did y'all think of the episode? Did y'all like it? How do y'all feel about the ending? Y'all know I was saying before, prior to this season or whatever, I've been saying I thought that they would have worked it out by now. I thought he'd go crawling. See, he just playing in her face at this point. I knew something was coming because ain't no way you gonna sit up there. First you reveal that you got a woman, and apparently it was your old coach, wife or whatever, widow. So did you have him murdered? Like, what's going on now? I said, now Sam the bad guy. I said, I'm confused now. How y'all gonna be trying to take Hunter down and all y'all, Richard over here stabbing people to death? He over here having all these affairs and everything else. And I said, I really don't know. And setting people up. So I was like, okay, now. I said, I don't know who the bad guy, who worse. The people in the White House that y'all claim y'all trying to, get up out of there and stuff like that, or y'all just as bad at this point. Look, everybody got to go. Everybody got to go at this point. But yeah, hold on. But yeah, where we gonna start? I guess with Alan. So he out the car. He seen that he hit the lady. He checking and stuff. He said she was dead. So he just looking around and everything. Gets in the car. He still don't know what to do. He ends up calling Donna. Meanwhile, Donna and Cal watching and stuff like that. And they just celebrating the fact that they got him. And I was like, dude, I said, Alan, these people been studying trying to tell you how these people get down. But you've been studying having Donna back and all this other stuff. You find it hard to believe that they would do this and they would do that. Now you're in this situation and you finna find out. I wonder at what point is they gonna reveal what they know or what they have. Cause he's to my son, this is all the tapes or whatever. He gave it, Cal gave it to Alan. I said, shoot, that ain't it. That's definitely not it. But yeah, so he ends up calling Donald. That's when he was telling Donald what happened. Donald told him to basically go home, so he did. Later in the episode, they showed him he just pacing back and forth or whatever. That's when. So what's the lady? Was the lady in on it too? That's what I was waiting to see. She had to be right. But yeah, next thing you know, Kyle come and I'm confused by that. Look, I just be confused. I don't understand how all this happened. Now I know he was supposed to be working with the FBI and everything, but they haven't even addressed that lately. But aside from that, um, Kyle must think that Cal and Donna must think that Alan swing that way or something. Is this what this about? Look, I don't. They don't lost me now. They don't lost me. Cause when he came, he was talking to him. He wanted him to let him in. First he wouldn't. So he finally let him in. He was asking for a beer or whatever. He was like, he wouldn't give it to him. Then he mentioned the body. He went to get him a beer. That's when he started talking about how Donald told him and all this other stuff. And I think, did he say he wanted to go to the police? I think before that, when he was talking to Donald, he wanted to go to the police. But he was like, basically, this gonna require favors. And he was like, I already told you that, I don't eat swing that way. Why I say it like that? He was telling him how he don't get down like that. He was like, well, basically, how did he put it? He said something like, okay, you don't want to give it to me, but if you go to jail, then they gonna take it or something like that. And I said, I don't understand why they. Okay, never mind. But then he kept talking. He could be talking in a way that he think that Alan messing around with Dale or something. And then he was talking about how Donna wouldn't like this and Donna wouldn't like that. And he started telling him, he don't swing that way. And I'm like, how many times I got to tell you now? How many times I got to tell you what the word going on now? Well, yeah, that's all that happened. He gave him the doggone tapes and everything. Saying that that's it. That's all of them. Let me find it. Let me make sure. He was like, he gonna find it. This is all of the tapes and everything. And I said, I don't believe him. And after he left, he just looked like he was relieved or whatever. I said, don't, it's just getting started, buddy. I said, don't be looking all relieved because it's just getting started, buddy. Hold on. Y'all, I almost forgot about this. I went to sleep. I went to sleep. I woke up at about 8:01 or whatever. But yeah, let's backtrack. I know I said Alan hit somebody. He calls Donald. Lily was listening, so Donald got caught. Sharon calls Dale to tell that she had been grabbed and stuff like that. He's like, he gonna come to get her. Donna knew that Lily was listening and he came to get the laptop and everything. She tried to act like she wasn't doing nothing. Then he a psychopath. So I tell you, she should have been got him. She could have been got him. But yeah, he's like, you working with him, aren't you? This why I was like, where him and Cal getting this information from? They not working together. I think she did try to tell him and warn him, but he hard of hearing or something. He one of them people that just got to learn the hard way, apparently. Um, let's see. Let's see where I stopped it. Don't think Lily working with Alan. Hunter was trying to go down. He goes to, I think he went to Isaac first, telling him how he want to go downstairs because he need that stuff. He itching real bad, need that stuff real bad. So he started telling him no or whatever. I said Hunter foolish. He wants them. He says I said Hunter foolish because he wanted them to bring him the substances. I said what's wrong with him? He's like maybe they can bring it to me. I said this man. I said I said what's wrong with him? So Isaac ends up telling him, that they could use it to their advantage. Because first he was saying how, they already know I'm on that stuff. I said, this man crazy. They already know about it or whatever. And he's like, they can use it to their advantage. He was like, no, or whatever. So he ends up leaving, and he started telling him, trying to talk some sense to him. Why he went to Jason. And I said, okay, what's happening here? I was like, okay, once he started talking to him, I was like, he want him to take him through the tunnel so he could go downstairs. Hold on, y'all. He go to Jason's room. Jason, he goes in there or whatever. At first, Jason wasn't saying anything. I was like, he gone. I said, he gone. But he was there. He ends up raising up or whatever. But yeah, Hunter wants Jason to show him a different way to get to the Oval. Hunter ends up asking Jason if he does substances. And I said, look, before he even said what he wanted or anything like that, or Jason figured it out, I said, nah, he trying to get substances from his son. I said, you gotta be real desperate now. And I said, you gotta be real desperate. I said, he trying to get some substances from Jason. Did they ever show Jason using substances too? I can't recall, y'all. What else? Let's see. Jason ends up telling him to get it together. I said, right, exactly. Hunter ends up mentioning what the agents found about, when they said they went through the tunnels and they seen some weird stuff down there. He ends up mentioning that. So he's like, do you got some substances down there too? I said, what's wrong with this man? Then, after Jason kept telling him no, repeatedly, he talking about the doggone, when this is all over, I'm gonna get you some help. Jason said they could go to the same rehab. I said, okay, y'all both need to go to. I don't even know if they would send him to rehab. Where would they send him? To the crazy place? I think they had sent him to the crazy place and him to rehab, right? But yeah, I said, it's not you trying to get some substance. And he knew it. Jason knew it. He ends up telling him or whatever. He tried to make it seem like, no, I'm just trying to make sure you don't do, substances or whatever. What else? Dale ends up picking up Sharon. And he just over there just sitting and stuff. She started telling him to drive, but then she foolish. She talking about some go to Kareem's house because he said he had blood there or something like that. And I was like, maybe she didn't actually see the body. Somebody said, I know Kareem seen the body. I think it was his cousin with him. They end up putting him in the rug or something like that, didn't they? See, that's the thing when these shows be off a long time. Well, I be forgetting the way it go, but yeah, when they be off a long time, you be forgetting what go on. Well, yeah, what else? Dale tells Sharon that Kareem was selling substances out of the pharmacy. And I said, didn't Barry tell her that before? She wants to go to Kareem's place. At first, Dale didn't want to go, but they showing them on next week's episode there. Victoria calls Donald, and she started talking about how if they get some substances and put it in the tunnels, like, he's going to come out and they can get him in. Let's see. Basically, I think Donna was trying to advise her against it, but she hard-headed. And he knew once he got off the phone with her that she finna do something stupid. Cal tells Alan that he gonna take the body in his truck to the police. Cal ends up giving Alan the footage, tells him that it's all gone. How we skip ahead? I don't know. Cal says that he wants Favors to keep secret, and that's when he told him that he don't get down like that. Bobby and Max ended up coming in early. They was talking to Alonzo before Victoria came in to get Alonzo. She wanted Alonzo to get some substances or whatever. He was telling her how he can't do that and all this other stuff. She talking about, so she giving him, well, she said she gonna give him an hour. I don't know. She gonna give him some time before, it's required. I think they're gonna be trying to tell him not to do it on next week's episode. Nancy ends up calling Priscilla, and that's where it got interesting and crazy at the same time. This is where it started to get interesting because Nancy called Priscilla. She ends up saying that Sam and Richard framed her. She was like, why would they do that? And she ends up telling us, she ain't supposed to say all that over there. But I guess she don't care because she the one went to the doggone police anyways. I said, if you hadn't went, ran in your mouth. If you hadn't went, run in your doggone mouth, you wouldn't be in jail right now. I can't believe this, though. They done took these characters way. Now, he was already tripping when he found out that she had been cheating and she had another son. And he finally forgave her or whatever. He forgave her. Then she want to go, what did she say? She talking about somehow, she wanted to continue the affair. But his daddy said no. His daddy said no, and just how he's the one that she really wanted and all this. She had to say it. That's what took it too far. Then walking in, finding out that I think he had came again and they was sleeping together again. I think Sam ended up telling her, I don't know, y'all. Either way it go, things got way out of hand. But yeah, on tonight's episode, I already said Nancy called Priscilla. She was telling them what they did. Sam had came in. She ends up looking up to see, and she was questioning him about it. And he was saying how, he told her not to do it, and she was going on and on about how men do this, they can't take it and stuff like that. He was like, oh, okay. He was like, he gave her the phone. He was like, here, this the number to my old coach's this the number to my old coach or something like that. And she was like, why you want me to contact a dead man? And she wouldn't call the number, so he ends up calling and putting it on speaker. And he was, what he said? He said, hey, baby. He said something. And Priscilla realized it was a woman on the other line and stuff like that. They were just talking. They started talking about, the woman started talking about Priscilla. And I said, you need to leave her and all this other stuff. I said, what's going on now? I said, I was not expecting this. But that ain't even the worst part. Well, that's one of the worst parts. Because Sam been cheating the whole time, apparently. Then I think he asked about their son or something like that, and then Priscilla revealed her voice, and that's when she hung up. The lady hung up. So she was questioning him, and he was like, he don't know why he didn't think of going to be with her and their son or whatever. I said maybe he lied. I don't know. Maybe he just said that to stick it to her. And I said, now the series started with these folks being the enemies. Who the enemies now? They just as bad. They just as crooked. I was like, what in the world going on now? I said, I was hoping that Sam and Priscilla worked it out. Now it's like, no. Now I will say, some seasons before this, I thought, you know what I thought? I did think that they was going to reveal that Sam had a child or children. But what I thought it was going to be was him and Simone. I thought it was going to be him and Simone. Because then they said something about Sam. Then she said something about Sam knew their kids or something like that. Ain't that what she said? I think that's what led me to believe that something was going on between them. But yeah, he got a 4-year-old son and stuff like that. Priscilla was hurt. She looked like she was about to cry and stuff like that. He was like, what you gonna do? Cry or whatever? And he was like, I'm about to go be with them or whatever. And so he leaves out. She falls behind him, pushed his tail down the steps. She pushed him down the doggone stairs, and I was like, I didn't see that coming, but I saw it coming. I knew something was about to happen. Once they get to that 8:59 and it's still going, something about to happen. Some cliffhanger. She done pushed him down the steps. She's supposed to be talking to somebody on next week's episode. And the way she looked, I'm assuming she got him tied up or something like that. I said, we ain't got time for this right now. They over here tripping at the doggone White House, and y'all want to have y'all old side quests going on. One over here stabbing their dad to death to the point where he dead, setting up his wife and everything. Well, Sam did that. Hold on. Now y'all over here got y'all own little situation going on. You done pushed him down the doggone steps. He talking about he got a 4-year-old son. I said, who the bad guys? I'm confused. I don't know at this point. I said, this is not how this supposed to go. They supposed to be working together to take these folks down, and now they need to be taken down too. Taken down too. Now y'all gotta go too. I said, look, everybody on the show. Everybody on the show crooked in some way. Everybody, literally. Literally. They either crooked or they slow. Nah, for real. Hold on. What time it is? Let me see. 9:29. I said, what the world? I really wasn't expecting that. What the world? I said, now, if you would have said Simone and him had something going on, I would have believed it because of the fact that she said something about Sam knew their kids or something. And I was like, how would he know they kids? They ain't got no kids, do they? Then what? Oh, what he said? Sam said something about you ain't giving me none or whatever. And I was like, wait a minute now. I was like, wait a minute. His whole coach, you messing around with a cougar? What the world going on? Or is it MILF? I think it's a cougar, ain't it? I don't know. I said, what the world? I was like, I said, yeah, I knew something was about to come. Once it got to that 8:59, and not only that, the fact that he done did all that, you already was cheating with the first lady, who now the second lady. Now you telling her that you been cheating the whole time and you got a 4-year-old son? Shoot, she done pushed him down. Look at you. Now you just laying on the steps. You laying at the bottom of the steps. Now look at you. It's your own fault. These people crazy. What the world going on now? But that's it, y'all. Let me know y'all thoughts on this episode down below. Stay tuned for the next review. Until next